Hi, everybody. Paul and Mitch here. Just wanted to say hi, and I am so excited to be interviewing Mitch today. So Mitch is a viral Facebook advertising expert and marketing specialist. And so welcome aboard. Welcome to the group, Mitch.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to be here. Absolutely great. Love talking to people.
It's awesome to have you. And so we'll make a start. If you could just give us a little bit of your background and how you got into marketing and just a little bit of your history.
Well, first of all, you're going to have to cut me off whenever you think I'm going too long. I told you that in the pre-show. I can tell this in a 4-hour story if you want, but basically, I was a computer programmer right out of college back in 1979. That's how old I am. I'm not 79, but that's when I graduated, and you guys can do the math. I fell in love with programming at the time and thought I was going to be doing it forever. Fast forward 30 years, I was one of my hobbies is photography. And a new camera was announced by Canon called the 5D Mark II in 2008. And I latched onto that because it was a new camera that did video. I won't go into all the details, but it was hot. It was a really hot thing. And I decided to create a blog because I always kind of wanted to be a blogger, to talk about something that was different than programming. Because after 30 years, I was just bored to tears with programming. And all the young kids were coming up and they knew how to do it better than me. And I was like, okay. But I thought that I was going to be there forever, right? Because you got the family, you got the retirement building up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I started this blog called Planet 5D. It started doing really well. And then Boeing, whom I worked for, said, Mitch, we're shipping your job over to Malaysia. We don't need you anymore. Have a nice day. And kicked me out. Luckily, I had enough years in, 32 years, that I got early retirement. So I got a wee bit of money coming in. And I told my wife, I said, look, we can pay the mortgage with that money. If we don't eat, then we can at least stay in the house, right? So I ended up trying to get the blog working. I hired an advertising guy. Fast forward a couple of years, it's booming. I mean, I'm making as much, if not more money than I was working as a programmer. As part of that blog, I was earning income through advertising, sidebar ads and stuff. Well, those have gone completely away. Nobody's paying for those anymore. Now, Google's still making some money off of it. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. But I discovered along the way something called a giveaway. Now, everybody knows a giveaway by either the name of giveaway or a sweepstakes or a contest. I know people in Europe and probably wherever you are. Where are you? In Australia?
Australia, yep.
Yeah. Know a contest as a random draw prize kind of a thing. So I started doing those for advertisers as a fun thing to keep them on my website. And it turns out, long story short, people pay money for those leads. Bing! I was really shocked. And so I started doing it as a job, basically. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm moving from doing a photo video blog to being an expert in what I'm calling, and I'm struggling with this term because a lot of people don't necessarily understand it, but basically viral contest marketing is where I'm going. And so the front end of that is either Facebook ads or cold traffic or warm traffic through your own list, your social media, that kind of stuff. And you're incentivized. I'm jumping ahead to the next question because I'm assuming you're going to ask me what the hell that is.
Keep going.
Okay, at least I'm on the right path. So basically what you're doing is having a prize, or this could be a referral thing where you're trying to get people to use their own social media to spread the word about your product or service. Let's say, for example, you want to give away a new car, right? Okay, big extreme prize. Maybe you're a car dealer. obviously you don't want to just send that to your own email list. You want to get people to share that because you want them to help you build your list.
Yep.
So the old adage of the money is in the list, I think, is still true. Now your list could be an email list, or it could be now you could have a Facebook Messenger list, or you could have a text-based list, right, where you send out text messages, or a combination of all of those. But the money still, I think, is in the list. Most businesses don't really realize that. Now, you can spend a lot of money on Facebook advertising. You can spend a lot of money on Google advertising or whatever. But the whole intent of all of that is to really try to reach new eyeballs. Yes, and so if you're doing something like this contest where you're going to give away a new car, what you're doing is you're asking people to share on their social media. And so you're building your list by new people coming in the front end because they want to try to win that new car.
Yep.
Obviously, you don't have to make it a huge, big prize. I know people are doing highly successful campaigns with just a $49 flashlight. People in the right market with the right product get really excited about a giveaway. They love getting new things for free.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing in a long-worded nutshell from the day I was born to now.
So what sort of results do you get from the average, I suppose, campaign where somebody's trying to get some, they're going to spend some money on advertising? What sort of returns are they likely to get? What sort of results can you get from those types of promotions?
It's all over the place. It totally depends. It's one of those questions that the typical answer I give is, yeah, it depends. The key is whether or not they're targeted leads, right? People that are really interested in your product or your service, and you don't care about a number. Let me give an example. A good example that I've been using recently is a friend of mine that works, her website is about horses. So it's kind of a unique niche, right? There's a lot of people that have a lot of horses on the planet, and she's in the United States. So we had to restrict it to the United States, which, by the way, when you're doing a regional or country-based campaign, obviously is going to limit your reach, because these days people have wide social networks, right? So I have friends like you in Australia and worldwide. So if I share something on my Facebook page, you may not be interested in it if it's a US based only thing, right? So there are some limitations there. There's some things that you have to consider when you're building this campaign. But so she's doing a horsey business inside the United States. And she said, well, Mitch, I want to give away a $250 Amazon gift card. And I said, whoa, get it? Whoa, it's a horsey joke. No, you don't want to give away an iPad, an Amazon gift card, because what you're going to get is moms and pops entering the campaign that want to buy diapers, they want to buy soap for their dishwasher, they want to buy car wash, all kinds of different things. But you want to specifically go after people that are horse-based, right? So you might do this Amazon gift card and get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 leads. I'm still trying to get to your answer. But you don't want 10,000 leads if 99.9% of them only wanted the gift card and aren't interested in long-term what you're offering. So we worked together and we came up with the idea of running a campaign for a $250 gift certificate at your local tack and feed shop. Now, tack and feed shops are kind of like horse-based, right? It's not like you and I aren't going to go there because we don't care about horses. We're not going to enter because we don't want to win something that we can't possibly use. Now, there will be some people, one or two people, that will try to enter that because they think they can turn around and sell it and make money. But odds of them actually doing, you're always going to have fall off when you get people on a list. And you want people to get off your list that don't have any interest in what you're doing. So long story short, I'm sorry. The end result was her campaign, which was 2.5 weeks. She got 630 new targeted leads, and she was ecstatic. Her goal was 500. Now, a lot of people go, well, Mitch, that's only 630 leads, big deal. But that, you think about it, that was in a 2-week, 3-week process. She continues to do a new contest every 2 weeks or every month, depending upon what she feels like. She's growing her list by 1,000, 2,000 people every time she runs a campaign now, because it's gotten bigger.
Yep.
So over the span of a year, I need to ask her this year where she is now. But her next campaign, she got another 600 and something people. So she continues to grow her list. But again, they're highly targeted people. Now, who wouldn't want to grow your list by 600, say 1,200 people a month? Obviously, yeah, they're targeted. They're highly targeted. So that's the thing that you got to pay attention to. And that's one of the big failures. Most people don't select the right prize. They get something like a gift card or an iPad because they think it's super sexy, and they're going to try to get thousands of leads, but you don't care if they aren't interested in your products or services. So I know a guy that ran a campaign that got 230,000 leads. He's jumping up and down crazy, right? One campaign, I think he ran it for 3 weeks, but he was giving away 6 million of a brand new cryptocurrency. So, okay, that's like buying leads, right? You're basically buying people, and it was cryptocurrency, so it was going crazy. And unfortunately, the marketing people who are selling these tools tend to use those as an example. So if Paul signs up to a tool and he goes, well, you're saying I can get 200,000 leads because it's going viral. Well, you can't trust what the marketers are doing. My average, to answer your question, continuing to answer your question, is I'm currently averaging about 4,000 leads per campaign. And I've done them for all kinds of different people. I've done a campaign that was 56,000 leads in 3 weeks. I've done a campaign that was 600 leads in 3 weeks. So, but my average is about 4,000. Now, if you go based on the old adage in marketing of a lead on your email list or your Facebook list, obviously could be different, but because Facebook Messenger people are responding at higher rates than your email list. But if you go based on that, an email on your email list is worth $1 per lead per month. Now, if you get 1,000 people added to your email list, theoretically, that's $12,000 in additional business over the span of a year. If you do that every month, then it's just compounding, right? You're getting more and more people on every month. If you're only adding 1,000, well, that's 12,000 by the end of the year. And so if you continue going forwards, that's $12,000 a month in extra income. So obviously those numbers are for, I can't guarantee those numbers are going to be true for anybody, right?
You can never guarantee numbers, but
right. But realistically, I like to be realistic for people because they see these marketing folks, and I'm really good friends with a couple of them, and I keep telling them, quit sharing these success stories where somebody got 100,000 leads in a month, because the vast majority of people aren't going to get that, nor do they know what to do with them once they get them, right? So let's tone it down. I mean, I have done over 70 campaigns now, and I'm averaging about 4,000 leads per campaign, which is typically 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. That's 8,000 leads in additional a month. That's good stuff, right? So if people don't have these massive expectations, then I think they're much better off. Think small. If you hit something that's bigger than what you expected, that's great. But realistically, Paul, you can also do this without paying for Facebook in the front end. There are ways that you can get leads involved in your campaign, assuming you got a little bit of a seed traffic at the beginning, or friends or family, or maybe you want to spend money on an influencer on Instagram or somebody you know. There are ways of getting started without just throwing thousands of dollars into Facebook advertising. Of course, Facebook loves you if you spend money on them, right? So that's a great way of doing it. Most of my campaigns, I'm not paying for Facebook ads.
Okay.
I did a campaign for Tokina, and we got 7,600 leads. Never spent a dime on the front end. So it can be done. You just have to know where you're going, what you're after. I also have a guy that's doing a campaign for children's books, and he started with nothing. So he's doing Facebook ads to get started, but his last 2-week campaign brought in 630 something leads.
Yep.
So those are people interested. I mean, he's going after a target niche of parents that have a child between the age of 0 and 7. So, that's a really small niche. Now there's obviously thousands upon thousands of people, but when you consider that, yes, when you're considering the fact that what most of these social tools are doing, so let's say, for example, if I may give a demonstration. So let's say I'm going to do this giveaway for this children's books, and let's just suppose that, do you have kids between the age of 1 and 7?
I don't know.
I didn't think you did. But let's suppose that you have a grandchild or a daughter that's going to have a grandchild, right? Mm-hmm. So you might be interested in this. So you sign up. Now you go put that campaign. So the first page is a sign up. So we get your email address. The second page is the share page, what they call a share page. And there's buttons on there for Facebook, Twitter, all kinds of different activities that you can do. So if, Paul, you signed up for this and you shared on your Facebook feed, the odds of the people that are in your frienddom of having a child between the age of 0 and 7 that you're going to read to or know somebody realistically isn't that big, right? What we're doing at this point is we're kind of like doing buckshot with, a shotgun. We're hoping that one pellet or 2 pellets are going to kill the. Sorry for those of you who are. I don't like hunting, but I think the idea gets across very well that if you shoot buckshot, you're throwing a whole lot of seeds out there trying to get that 1 or 2 things to hit.
Yep.
So it's a matter of going after volume. But if you happen to have the right audience, then that can help me a whole lot. So that's the overall process in a 5-minute nutshell.
Okay, so
and a long-winded answer, I'm sorry, Paul, for how many leads can you get? It depends.
Yeah, so if you're starting from a base of 0, then I'm just trying to see if I can put it into so if you're starting with a base of 0, you're either going to have to look at ads or influencers or something to get your initial group of target audience, and then
Possibly.
from there. Yeah.
Well, may I give you another example that might help you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I know a guy over here that he's got a secret. So a friend of mine decided he wanted to do a giveaway, and he's in art supplies. He sells painting kits and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't have any people on his email list. He's got an e-store that he's just starting out. And so what he did was he spent 3 months going into Facebook groups for people who were doing, like, there's these crazy big groups that are doing like paint by numbers kind of things for adults, right? It's a thing where people are wanting relaxation and being able to do stuff. So he spent 3 months answering questions and became well known in the group.
Yep.
So he said, by the way, in 2 weeks, I'm going to launch a giveaway. He talked to the group owner and said, is it okay if I announce this? Group owner says, sure, I don't care. He got 100,000 leads in his first campaign because for no cost him nothing purely by going into Facebook groups and finding people and building up a reputation.
Yep.
And he's now selling thousands of these kits simply with no starting cost for advertising for his giveaway campaign. He gave away one kit, $300 value, 100,000 leads. So there are certainly ways of doing it. You can't just announce it in one tiny place and hope that it's going to go viral. Well, that happened. Okay. Yep. The cryptocurrency guy announced it in one spot and got 230,000 leads, but that's an extreme case. Most people struggle, but there are certainly tricks where you can go get started, and you want those people anyway, right? You want to be talking to those people as you're building your business. I know you're in half a dozen different business groups. You've started one. You're trying to help people, so you're very encouraged by things that are happening. You want people to work together, so you encourage sharing, right? You encourage people to come in and talk about what they're doing. That's the way to really get started if you want to do something for no cost, in my book. Facebook groups are awesome for that. And then, of course, you start your own group and you bring people in and you start doing it the way you want to do it. Build your own audience. Those people are perfect seed money. I know a guy that's got 100,000 people in a Facebook group for beginner bloggers, and he's making, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000 a month selling his stuff. So there's all kinds of ways to use Facebook groups to make that stuff happen. Did that answer your question?
Yep, I think so. So you need to build an audience from somewhere to start, and that can either be done by
paid ads,
or by you
busting your tail
out there, basically.
Right, exactly. Yep. I mean, that's actually how I started my photo video blog, Paul. I was answering questions on forums. You remember those? Back in the day, there used to be forums. And I was staunchly, I hated Facebook. I don't like Facebook. But back in the day, I did that very same thing that this artist guy did. I went and I answered questions on forums. I emailed people when they had a question. And I just built myself up. I was on Twitter. I thought Twitter was going to be the thing. It still is a thing. But I spent a lot of time answering questions and getting people to like me and that kind of stuff. It's slow, tedious work, but it certainly is something that works very well, still to this day.
So another question. So does it have to be a giveaway? What other options do people have? Like if somebody doesn't have a $500 to throw into a product to give away, if you don't know what sort of results you're going to get from a campaign, what options do people have?
Well, it's very simple. There's lots and lots of ways of doing it. I know people that will buy a product on Amazon and ship it. Okay. So maybe in those cases, it's a physical product, right? So like somebody wants to start a t-shirt store. I've not done this, but I think it would work. Start buying your t-shirts from somebody else and offer 3 or 4 prizes to start building your list. I know people that are doing like affiliate products. So, if you want to venture into the information market, like somebody could come buy my training program, right? Offer it to their audience. They buy it from me for $100, $200, whatever I'm charging at the time. They offer it to their crowd. You don't have to have your own product. The camera, by the way, the 56,000 lead campaign that I just ran for a friend of mine, he runs a camera blog, and he simply said, well, I'll buy the camera and ship it to you through Adorama at the time. So there's all kinds of ways if you don't happen to have your own product to get started. Obviously, it needs to be something, again, that's targeted for your audience. We're not going to give away an iPad if you're trying to sell new shoes. It just is not the right audience. But the key here again is that you don't have to spend thousands. Like my friend Bradley is doing a giveaway to the survival niche, right? Bunch of preppers who think that the world is going to end, and they all love these silly little halogen flashlights that are really incredibly bright because they figure they're going to need a flashlight when the world ends.
Yeah.
It's a $49 flashlight. It costs him $25 to buy it wholesale plus shipping. So, and he's getting thousands upon thousands of people added to his list every time he runs one of those campaigns. It's not how much the prize is if you're doing it as a prize. It's whether or not you're getting in front of the right audience with the right product. Now, the second part of that question is that you can run a referral campaign. You don't have to do necessarily a quote unquote random draw giveaway. Yeah. But you can, so Dropbox is the perfect example. Everybody's familiar with Dropbox, right? When they launched, they said, all right, here's your 100 gigabytes or whatever, I've forgotten the number of free space. But if you get a friend to sign up, we'll add 10 gigs to that, whatever that number was, right? That's called referral marketing. So you're finding people that are potentially or probably already your customers, or potentially people that are really excited about your product, and you're using, I mean, all of this is just what we call accelerated word of mouth. It's people like you who say, you guys should enter this campaign because this prize is really cool. Or you should sign up for Dropbox because you're going to get free access to this 100 gigs of space or whatever that thing is. Or if you get 3 people to sign up, then I'll get a special bonus. You know, so all of this is nothing more than you, Paul, or whomever is entering a campaign, is trying to get them to tell their friends. And that's where the really free part of it starts out. The viral part of it.
The viral, yeah.
Is you're using other people's friends list through their word of mouth. So they're building your authority. They're building credibility. They're building good rapport for you because they're using their influence to get their friends involved.
Yeah. And that's when things go crazy.
That's when they can go crazy. But even if even if they don't go crazy, right? So the viral aspect of it is, let's suppose that Paul signs up for my giveaway or my referral thing or whatever.
Yep.
If you get one person to sign up, that's gold for me, right? That's one person that I didn't have. Now, not everybody is going to get somebody to sign up. Some people, this is a shocker, some people don't like to share on social media. They may not want to tell their friends about the flashlight that Paul is going to win. They might not care about that. So there are quite often, I mean, realistically, the numbers that I'm seeing in my campaigns are about only 30% of the people actually share for you. So what you got to do is you got to get those people really fired up. You got to get them incentivized to be able to share the message. So in order for it to quote unquote go viral, if you've got 100 people in there, you really want to get each one of them to send in at least another person. Then you're really starting to talk about things ramping up. But you're okay if you run a campaign and you get 100 people to sign up and only 20 or 30 additional entries because of these referrals, because that's 20 or 30 people that you never would have gotten in front of, even if you're paying for ads or whatever. These are freebies. These are people that you want to have in your campaigns, because the next one you run, guess what? Your seed list is now 120 people.
Yep.
And even though they entered the first time, the key is to get them to share it again. So you keep doing these things and you keep building your audience. A lot of people say, well, why would I ever send the campaign to my list again? That's where the gold is. That's where your people are fans of yours and they want to win that thing. They didn't win it the first time, or they didn't get the bonus or whatever it is you're offering. So you share it with them again, and they're going to share it again. And especially with things like the Facebook algorithms, where, you know, the first time they shared it, only 7% of their audience saw it anyway. So the next time they do it again, they're going to get the other 7%. And so you don't really realistically burn a list or a social media feed, because of the way the algorithms are reducing the number of people that see your stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So there's goods and bads to that, right? I mean, obviously we want somebody to share our campaign, and we want 100% of their friends list to see it. Because that's what we want, is maximum exposure.
So if we can get you guys to give some likes here. So we've got Mitch and Paul on here at the moment that I can see. And if you've got any questions that you would like to ask Mitch, please feel free to shoot them up. We've got Adamina's also just joined us. So,
hello.
Hi.
Oh, look, a ding. More dings. I like dings. and I'm assuming, Paul, this is going to live forever on your Facebook group. So, right.
Yes.
If people want to ask me a question, you can, of course, post it in the comments below. I'd be happy to come back and answer questions. I won't try to get you on my email list, because I want you over here in Paul's group, participating in Paul's group, because Paul's giving us gold. I don't know, was this 4th, 5th interview you've done since I joined the group?
Not quite, but we're getting there.
Okay.
But yeah.
I know you've done. I know I'm at least number 3, right?
I think you're number 3 at the moment.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Because we're fairly new.
But this is the kind of stuff that makes groups grow, and I love that you're doing this, Paul, because there's all kinds of nuggets, especially if you're using video speed controller in Chrome. I don't own that plugin or anything, but I like to go through these things on like 1.5 or 2x speed. So, you know, Mitch, I tend to get very excited and I can talk fast, but I know people like me to talk even faster. So if you're watching a replay, get yourself video speed controller and be able to go through it at 1.5, and you can get through more interviews, still pull out the nuggets, and go back and watch all the ones Paul's already done, so that you're growing and growing and growing. How's that for a plug? Do I get $10 for that?
Yep. I didn't know about video speed controller.
Oh,
so
gosh. It only works in Chrome. It's not a Safari plugin. It works on both Windows and Linux, and on both, I said, and on Mac. It is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because there are many people who talk very slowly, and that's okay. But sometimes I want to get... One of the things that I really dislike, Paul, which you didn't do, bless your heart, was somebody will do a live interview and they'll spend the first 5 minutes going, okay, will you tell us you're here and comment in the chat and tell me where you are and say hi and wish us all a Merry Christmas. And you spend 5 minutes weeding through that kind of stuff. Video speed controller will get you through that, because it has keyboard shortcuts. If you become a keyboard shortcut guy, you can change the speed on the fly, and you can go forwards and backwards with the keyboard shortcuts. It's brilliant. It's the best tool. It's free. Highly advise you to get video speed controller for Chrome. It's awesome.
Okay, I will write that down.
I'll give you the link. I'll post the link in the comments, because I have a keyboard shortcut for the link.
Okay, so we've got a question here from Paul Motley. He's asked, so he's got an idea for a giveaway. Would it be okay to drop it in a DM?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Always happy to answer questions.
Okay.
Now, it would be actually nice if you're okay with it, Paul, the other Paul, post it in the group when this is done, and other people can learn from that. So I'd be happy to answer the question either place. Let me tell you, if you're doing adult toys, Paul, it's not going to work. The problem with adult toys is, as an example, and I'll give you another example, is people don't want to share that, right? So if Paul enters the campaign, bless his heart, he might be really interested in that prize, but he's not going to share it on his Facebook feed, because he doesn't want anybody else to be, or potentially embarrassed by what he's sharing, right? I had a gal who approached me who was teaching people how to do sword swallowing and fire eating kind of stuff. You can't do I mean, you can. I really wanted to work with her because I thought that working on like a team building session would be really good. So if you did a giveaway where you were going to get your team to go to this evening entertainment where you maybe had dinner and drinks and then do fire breathing, right? Maybe that would be a really cool team building experience, and maybe we could do a giveaway for that. But she decided, but you talk about small niche products, right? That was to be taught locally, so it had to be in London, had to be people who would be interested in attending that event. So that's why she ended up not doing. I mean, you can obviously target Facebook ads really down to the gnat, right? You can really go down with Facebook ads. But the idea of doing a giveaway, because she thought to herself, well, okay, maybe I find Betty Lou who's really interested in learning how to do fire breathing, but is she going to share that on her Facebook feed and tell everybody, hey, you ought to come learn how to do this with me? So there are certain things where it may or may not work, which is why I was suggesting to the other Paul who asked the question that if you share it in the group and we answer it in the group, then other people can learn from that, as long as it's not something you're embarrassed about or you think that other people are going to steal your idea, in which case, don't worry about that, because there are, 7 billion people on the planet? And even if somebody else copies your idea, it's not like they're after your particular audience, right? I don't think there's anything such as the brand new unique idea nobody's ever thought of with 7 billion people on the planet. But anyway, happy to answer the question either way.
Yeah, I've got another question here from Mitch, which I'll just flick up in front of us.
Oh, look at that. I got a question about how to incorporate this idea into attraction-based marketing. I have a business and your offerings a business opportunity to others, but the back end is hush-hush until you go to the webinar and pay dollars to see the back end. Interesting. I'd love to do this for leads instead of doing general campaigns. Of course, you want highly targeted leads. One of the things that you can't do with most of these tools is tie them to dollars. And that's because of laws. So it may or may not work in that particular scenario. I'm sure we could come up with some kind of a process. But if for example, you get people that are required to buy something in order to be in the campaign, then that's called a lottery. Or that's called what's the other word? I'm suddenly blank.
Yeah, that requires a whole lot of different
legally, you don't want to go there. And so now you can offer people, there's some debate in some of the groups that I'm in about whether or not you can give people additional entries to the giveaway for buying a product. I tend to think, and I am no lawyer, so you can't quote me on this, but I tend to think that that's okay, because the law, I believe, states, at least in the United States, that you cannot do a giveaway where you require people to buy something to get into the campaign. Once they're in, I don't see a reason why you couldn't incentivize them to give them extra entries in the campaign for buying something. But what potentially could happen, though, is that somebody could get really angry about maybe the winner ended up buying a product, so they got more chances to win, and therefore they feel that's against the, the laws, whatever. But the odds, and this is why I think right now there's really sort of the wild, wild west, as we used to say here in the United States, it's wide open at this point for anybody to do kind of anything, whether it's legal or not, because it's not like there's the sheriff in town that's going to come along and see. There's nobody monitoring all 5 billion campaigns that are going on. Unless somebody complains to their local authorities, odds are you're not going to get caught. Now, I'm not advising anybody to do anything illegal or against the law, but I also...
I'm not either.
Yes, this is not what we're advising. But the people who do things in an honest manner, and because I see campaigns all the time where people, I saw one not too long ago that was win $500 for Christmas. There was no definition of who the company was that was offering this $500. There were no terms and conditions. There was no statement of laws or when there was going to be a drawing, how many people would win $500. Absolutely no information. And I shared it to my group and I said, how many of you would enter this? And about 10% of the people said, yeah, I'd enter that because I want to win $500. I said, well, you just gave your email to a scammer because they're never going to give away the $500. So if you're going to do campaigns like this, you want to be trustworthy. You want to be honest. You want to show your website in the United States. Of course, you have to list your physical delivery, your mailing address, all those kinds of requirements because you want people to trust you, right? You're in business because you want them to buy stuff from you or buy your service. And if you start cheating and scrimping on the law, they're not going to believe you anyway. So you don't want people doing that. So you have to go through the process of doing it the right way. At least make an attempt. I mean, realistically, in the United States, depending on the price of the prize, for example, in Florida, you're supposed to pay a fee to go register and get a license for a prize that's over, I think, $1,000. Not everybody's doing that, right? So there's all these little laws that you could theoretically get caught by, but most people aren't doing them because they're not aware of them. So anyway.
So in Australia, for example, we have to get a registration for any prize that we give away, unless, so for any contest, I think it costs about $80 per contest, but that's if somebody doesn't have to do something for something. So if somebody can go, right, if you do these 5 activities, you will get this,
right?
Then that's not a contest. That's something where someone can actually generate. If they do something, they get something.
Right.
But if it's a contest, it needs to be registered, and you need to get a contest number and so on and so forth. So yeah, the laws are different everywhere, and you need to understand what the laws are where you're from and follow them. But,
correct. Absolutely correct. Always follow the laws. And it's even funny in the United States because the definition of the word contest legally is that a contest is a game of skill that is judged by somebody. Like a photo, everybody submit a photo and we'll pick the best one, right? That's a contest in the United States. The rest of the world, a contest is a random draw prize giveaway. So even the words can get us all tripped up. So you have to understand what you're doing and understand what the laws are.
Yep. Do I have any more questions coming through, guys?
You should, because this is awesome material.
It's really awesome.
I frankly, Paul, frankly, your name isn't Frank. Paul, people have told me recently that I get too excited about this. It's something that people don't thoroughly make time to understand. They don't understand the value. Let me give you a statistic that I read, and statistics, of course, can be manipulated, but I don't know if you've heard of AppSumo. AppSumo has a giveaway tool that they call King Sumo. And there's a document, I can leave you the link in the group as well, where they did a study and they compared leads that they got into AppSumo business that came from traditional marketing and the ones that came through their giveaways that they run on King Sumo. And they found out that the leads that came from the giveaways brought in 55% more income. Now, if you tell a business person that you can go over to this way of doing your lead gathering and get 10% more income, people are going to jump on it, right?
Yep.
King Sumo's found out that it was 55% in their business. Now, that number is not going to be true for everybody. Some people could be higher. Some people could be much lower. But even if it's 5 or 10% more income from the same number of leads, wouldn't you go after that? Why wouldn't you go after that? The problem is that most people that I speak to think that giveaway leads are junk. And that's because many times people have done the, hey, win a new iPad, when they're trying to sell the service of massage, and the iPad has no correlation to what they're giving away. And therefore, when the leads don't turn to money, they go, well, that was a stupid idea. It's not a stupid idea. It's a very valuable idea, but you got to make sure you go through the right processes, figure out what the right prizes are to attract the right people for your business. Once you do that, you just keep repeating it over and over and over. I mean, how many restaurants should be doing, hey, win a free dinner for 2 and a bottle of wine and cab service or whatever? Every month they should be doing this, but they don't do it because but many of them do. And I mean, how many times have you been to, at least in the United States, maybe it's different in your neck of the woods, but many restaurants will have a fishbowl in the front where you drop your business card. It says, get free lunch. We'll pick a winner every month, right?
Yep.
That's a contest. But is there any virality to that? Are people going, oh, well, hey, Betty, go over there. You might, come have lunch here and then put your card in and maybe you'll win a dinner. That's not happening. They're not using social media at all. But if they turned that around and had all of those people say, hey, you can come win this free meal over here. Great. I had a great meal there. I highly recommend this restaurant. Maybe you can win. That kind of stuff should be very easily done, and people just aren't doing it because they don't think that that's going to work. So my mission, Paul, is to change that perception all around the planet. So I got 7 billion people I got to convince in the next couple of years. It's a little small challenge I've got.
Yep. All right. So I'm trying to think what would be. So if you were starting out in business, you're just starting to build an influence. You've got, well, we're in affiliate marketing here, so that's the main target of this group. So you have other products that are so you've chosen the niche that you want to be in. What's the best way to get started in your view?
The best way to get started is to find a product that you can be an affiliate for, that you are willing to give away. Now, the one thing that you have to pay attention to when you're selecting a prize, there's a lot of things, okay? I confess there's a lot of things to think about. But one of them is giving away the prize that you want to sell, right? It's quite common for somebody to say, well, I want to sell t-shirts, so I'm going to give away a t-shirt. I had a very good gentleman I was working with a couple of weeks ago who said, this was several years ago. He said, I was trying to sell a $430 information product, and I decided that was going to be my prize. And he was going to give away 2 or 3 of them. And he said, my sales went in the absolute dumper. He said, why was that? I said, well, you were trying to give away the prize that you were trying to sell. People thought to themselves, well, I'll give you my email address to get a chance to win that $430 prize, but I'm not going to buy it because I might win it. And so you got thousands upon thousands of leads, but nobody was buying. And so you can't give away the prize that you want to sell eventually. I mean, you can. There's ways of working around it, but you have to be cognizant of that potential failure and find something that's in the ballpark that's going to bring in the right leads. But it's not necessarily. Now, you can always say, look, if the winner already owns the product, we'll just refund your money, right? You can do things like that. But you want to encourage them to buy. Maybe you say, all right, if you enter and you hope to win, then here's a 10% discount for everybody who enters, right? Some incentive to get them thinking, oh, I'm going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
I've even seen people that say, not only will I give you the prize or a refund, I'll give you an extra $100 back, to incentivize people to go, okay, I'll go ahead and buy it because I need it. I'm not going to wait to see if I win. And in fact, it might help me to buy it because when I win it, I'm going to get money back plus an extra $100. So I'm just rattling off some ideas of ways that you can offer prizes. But if somebody's trying to get into the affiliate, they got to have a list, right? You can't do affiliate marketing without having a list. So you got to start building your list. That's the first asset you have to have. A giveaway, I think, is a great way to do that, especially if you have a prize that's kind of, maybe, I know some affiliates that just don't care what product they're after, right, or offering. I think you do have to niche it down. I think that's your advice, right?
I agree. Yep.
But so find something that is attractive. I mean, you could still do. I need to come up with an example that I can rattle off very easily. But let's say, for example, you've got. I'll go back to the horse analogy. So maybe there's a training video on how to train your horse to trot. Whatever, something. So you're wanting people to end up buying your training thing. But maybe instead of offering that prize, what you do is you offer a free saddle as a prize, right? Something that would have to potentially be shipped. I'm just brainstorming here. Obviously, it depends upon the niche, whatever. But you're finding something that attracts people in that particular niche that they go, holy crap, I need a new saddle. And yes, I need to learn how to train people. So, my horse. So you're working on things that are, it might cost you, right. It might cost you a few bucks to get started. But if like, I go back to the flashlight example. I mean, that thing is costing him virtually nothing to do. He's finding people that are in the prepper market. So once he finds those people, he can sell all kinds of affiliate products to them. All kinds of stuff. So you just have to get started with something. It's going to cost you a little bit for the prizes. But you can go to town once you start building that list, and you just keep doing it over and over and over. Does that help?
Yep, that's great, Tim. So how do you do? How do you? What do you use to make things go, to track? How do you make it go viral?
There are all kinds of tools, if that's what you're really asking. What tools do I use? Okay.
Yeah, what tools?
There are a variety of tools on the market. A couple of them are free. I think Rafflecopter is free, if I remember correctly. I haven't looked at Rafflecopter pricing recently. One of the very popular ones is Gleam. I don't think Gleam has enough of the services that I like. There's Viper, there's Viral Loops, there's Contest Domination. The one that I use all the time is a product called UpViral. That's UP, UpViral. It has the most functionality. It runs you either $35 for the basic per month, US, or $49 for the Pro version, which has a few additional features. It's not that expensive. And even for $49, you can do, once you learn how to do contests properly, which, oh, by the way, I have a way to teach you how to do that. But once you learn how to do that, you can do it for clients, and there is no agency fee on UpViral, which just absolutely slays me, because a tool like Viper, which is one of the other tools, charges $300 a month if you're going to do giveaways for clients. UpViral doesn't charge you any extra for running contests for clients. It's $49 a month. And they even have a 1-year deal, which is, I think, $249. No, that was the Black Friday price, was half price. So it's It's $4.99, I think, yearly. So you get basically
Okay.
2 months free if you buy a year. And if anybody's really interested, I didn't intend to turn this into a plug, but I feel if I don't mention it, people might go buy that. If you buy it through my affiliate link, you remember there's an affiliate link thing here, right? You're talking about.
Yep.
But if you buy it through my affiliate link, which I'm not here to plug, but if you happen to be interested in that, I'll give you an hour of consulting as my bonus for buying through my link.
Okay.
And you have to ask me. I'm not going to just post it in the group because that wouldn't be fair. You have to come ask me for it. Is that the way you do it? I mean, it's not fair to post links, right?
No. So that's but anybody can DM you or
yes,
and you'll get back in touch with them and send them your link via that. So Mitch is in the group, so you can contact Mitch anytime if you have any further questions, but I would suggest put the questions here, and I'm sure Mitch will come back and answer any questions in the comments if anybody has any more questions. Happy
to help anybody that's interested, because like I said, I think this is a great way of building a list and continuing to build a list, even if you've got tens of thousands of people. Keep it growing, because those leads turn into cash. Everybody loves cash. So yeah, happy to answer questions all day long.
Just gonna see if there's any more questions coming in.
And I'm sorry, Paul, we didn't talk about it beforehand, but I hope it was okay to say that about the free hour.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. I'm sure somebody would get a lot of value from spending an hour with you. I mean, I've got a huge amount of value out of this hour that we've just spent. So, and I'm sure everybody on the group is.
I told you I talk a lot. I get very passionate about it because I mean it's something, Paul, that is like a dopamine hit. I mean, everybody talks about, they leave their notifications on Facebook and it dings them on their phone or their computer when somebody likes or comments on their post or whatever. That little bit of dopamine, that's what a contest is. You're appealing to the people that feel like, holy cow, I want to win that. It's free. I want to win it. And if you incentivize them properly to share it and get them sharing it, I did an analysis of a contest not too long ago where we also, I take that back because this was not, we didn't. So there's a way of doing what's called a leaderboard where the person that gets the most points wins, right? Almost all the time, the grand prize that I do in a campaign is a random draw. So you could have 1 point. In fact, the one I just drew this weekend was the winner had just one entry. So she didn't share, she didn't do anything, but she had her 1 point and she was happy with that and she ended up winning. So it does happen. But the leaderboard concept is that the person that has the most points is going to win, right? Many times people have told me that they don't want to enter a leaderboard campaign because they don't think they have a big enough audience to be able to win. So they won't even try, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I like the random draw.
Yeah.
But in an analysis we did of this one campaign, we brought in 2,500 leads. The top 10 people, let's see if I can get all my fingers out here. The top 10 brought in 75% of all the leads. 10 people brought in 75%. Now, this was a trip to Hawaii for a business meeting, right? So it wasn't a mom and pop kind of thing where anybody would enter. It was a very specific, targeted prize. But those 10 people worked their fannies off because they wanted to win that prize. 75% of all those leads came from 10 people. So leaderboards do work. And so you want to incentivize people to get lots of points, and we have lots of ways of doing that. But there's great. I mean, just imagine. I haven't done the math. What is 75% of 25,000 or 2,500? A large number of leads came in.
Basically 2,000. Basically 2,000 out of the 2,500.
Yeah, good point. Don't put me on the spot with math because I'll fail miserably. But I mean, 10 people brought in that many leads. It's crazy. And guess what? I was one of those 10 because I really wanted that trip to Hawaii. And I had 50,000 people on my email list. So I was emailing like crazy because I wanted to get that trip.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens quite often, that you can find 2 or 3 or 5 people that are really wanting to win that prize. And the next time you do it, by the way, this is a little insider tip. If you're going to continue to market to that same audience, you give those people a heads up and say, hey, we're going to run another campaign. Do you want to tell your people about it? So you go talk to those people that are entering your campaigns and incentivize them even more, because they're bringing in you gold every time they play this game. Yep. So that's why I like it. I mean, I started talking about the dopamine. I mean, people really get fired up about this. It's fun. The companies, if you do it as a client, I mean, I do this as a service for clients, they love it because I'm running the campaign for them. They don't have to do the work. I turn around, hand them a pile of leads at the end, and they're like, holy crap, thanks. They get excited about the number of leads that come in. I get excited by it. The contesters get excited. Everybody's excited. Who doesn't want to do marketing where there's excitement? Right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is fun.
Yep.
I'll shut up now. Unless you have a question.
I do have a...
okay.
It's not related. Well, it's sort of related. I do have somebody which I've been talking to who actually happens to be in the horse space that would possibly be interested in having somebody run a campaign for them. Do you do that for clients?
This is the guy that contacted me this morning, right?
Oh, he did get hold of you this morning.
Yes. He said you were going to send him my way. So yes. Actually, I sent him. It's interesting you brought that up, because I actually sent him to the young lady that was doing the campaign that I mentioned before, the horsey thing. Because I don't have a lot of contacts in the horsey business. I joke with this gal. Her name's Heike, and I joke with her all the time because I call it the horsey business. Because you can say equine, right? You can say horses, but horsey is more fun. But I know she's building a website she calls it Horse World Connect, not to plug it, but she's trying to connect businesses with people. And so I'm like, okay, you got to go talk to her because she's the one that has all the connections. So I at least connected them. I think that his particular product is going to be highly desired by clients, but again, I think he's got to be careful not to give away the end prize of the thing that he's trying to sell. So I don't know if we're going to end up doing any work together, but I at least got him connected over to Heike. I mean, he was looking for somebody to do full-on marketing agency stuff, and I'm not as an agent yet. I'm not the kind of guy that is doing full bore marketing. So I'm doing niche marketing with giveaways. But I was happy to be able to connect him with somebody that could help him.
So a joint venture is a great option for this type of stuff. So if
absolutely.
So if I've got a product and you've got a different product, but we're in the same niche, I can give away your product and build my list, and you can give away my product and build your list.
We build the same list, right?
And we build the same list. We've got the same, if we're in the same niche.
Well, but you're highlighting something that's very important, because you can do it either direction. I mean, you can do it where you're marketing somebody else's giveaway, but why not put your prizes and his prizes or her prizes together and build a bigger campaign? And all you have to do in the fine print is say, you're going to be added to Betty Lou's and Paula's lists.
Yep.
In fact, that's a lot of people struggle. I'm glad you brought that up, Paul. That $10 is coming back your direction. People struggle with prize selection. Somebody, for example, that's a real estate agent. They're like, okay, how do I find targeted leads of people who are wanting to buy houses right now? I said, okay, you put together a basket of prizes. I'm sorry?
Give away a house.
Yeah. I actually had a guy that wanted to give away a house, by the way, and I told him that was the wrong freaking prize. I'll explain that. But if you put together a package, for example, like maybe a security system, or the welcome wagon. The welcome wagon used to be big here in the United States, where they bring you a basket when you came to the new house or whatever. But find a set of prizes like interior decorator or something. Put a whole bunch of people together to offer a big prize, and everybody that is a vendor in there gets to take the leads away from the giveaway. And so it takes more work, obviously, to put together that prize. But if you're struggling to find something to offer, but somebody that's in a similar niche, and I'll also say, anybody that thinks that, I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings here, but don't think that you're a silo and that you're going to run your business all by yourself, and you're not going to work with other people. Work with your competitors. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I'm in this photography blogging world. There are websites that are in photography blogs that flatly will not talk to me because they don't like me, or they don't like what I'm doing with my blog or whatever. They want to be all over there by themselves. But I work with other blogs, and we work together, and we promote each other, and we help each other. Everybody works better. Everybody's business rises when you're getting help from other people. So why on God's green earth would you try to be isolationist? Don't do that. Yeah. Now, let me go back to the story. What was the story I was going to tell? Ah, oh, damn it.
So it's about combining with somebody else. So I'm sure.
Dang it. Now I'm mad.
Give yourself 2 seconds and it'll come to you.
I'm going to rewind. Shoot. I should have written it down because I knew I was going to forget it. See, I told myself I was going to forget it, and then I forgot it. Don't do that. What did we start to talk about? You asked me about a question, didn't you?
So I asked you about combining with somebody else. Like I promote your product and you promote my product, or we work together and we get it.
I do have an example. I was going to pull up an example, but I had 5 photographers that were struggling with their own small lists. And we put together a prize package, and in 3 weeks, we brought in 9,000 leads for them. So they all shared it. All 5 photographers got those leads. We even staggered updates. So since they, all 5 photographers got the leads at the end of the contest, they didn't want to just go, okay, here's 5 slam you emails. So they staggered their emails going out afterwards. But that's 9,000 leads that they never had before. And a couple of them were like, well, some of these are trash leads. They just signed on to win the camera. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Yeah. You may not get all 9,000 people to stick with you, but if you nurture your list right, if you don't just try to sell them, if you give them value periodically and treat them as decent humans, then you're going to do a much better job. I want to, by the way, one of my good buddies sent me this book, and I want to recommend this book. It's called I can never remember, How a Simple Email Newsletter Can Transform Your Business by David Hyatt, and that's Hiatt.
Okay, we'll put that in the comments down below, right. And I'll also get it up. I'm going to put together a recommended books list for this group, and I think that'd be another good one to add to it. So
I've read this almost twice now. It's all about using a newsletter to transform your list into people that are buying. So basically what they're talking about doing is making a conversation, right? So a lot of and affiliates, I know I'm on some affiliate emails where all I get from this is buy this product, buy this product, buy this product, buy this product. And I tune them out. I delete them, and I need to unsubscribe from them. But in my business, in the photography blog business, I am doing much better when I am nurturing them and talking to them and telling them parts of my life. And they're becoming more like friends. I don't know each one of them personally, obviously, but this book is got some really intriguing ideas about how working with your list and helping them understand their own business and your business really grows into a much better list. So even if you only had 1,000 people on your list, 500 people on your list, if you can get those people buying, and then you start offering campaigns, giveaways to them, you can explode your list very quickly. I still haven't thought of what I was going to say before. I'm going to be mad about that for the rest of the day.
No, don't be mad about it. Just comment about it when you do remember.
It'll probably hit me.
All right. So do we have any other questions, guys? We've still got a few people on live. And if anybody has any, please don't remember to hit the like button and share the little hearts as well. But yeah, if you've got any comments, feel free to ask them in the comments below now if you're live, or chuck a hashtag replay if you're in later on, and we can come back and answer it. Mitch will be able to help out, hopefully, to answer all those questions.
I also want to recommend that people invite somebody to the group, if that's okay with you, Paul.
That would be amazing if we could get some people inviting others to the group.
I mean, all of you are out there, and I know for a fact that every one of you has been talking to somebody else about what you're doing. And if you have one or two friends that are trying to do what you're doing, because we all want to work with people that are doing similar things, invite them to the group. It will help you and them. They'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. Paul will certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, this group's we've had 155 people in under a month, which is just amazing. And it's an awesome group of people. So yeah, so if you know anybody else, that please invite them to the group, and we'll aim to give them as much value as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we're. Just checked the questions, see if there's any more. Nothing else.
I scared them all away, Paul. I got so excited, I scared them all away. Or I answered every question they could possibly ever have. No.
All right. Well, I think I've run out of questions for now.
All right.
This interview has been absolutely amazing, Mitch. You've given huge value. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you having me on, Paul, because even if I don't get anything out of it, if I've helped one or two of your people to find a way of doing something a little different, and it helps grow their business, then that's pure gold for me. So thanks for having me on. Yeah.
So and also yeah. So if you are interested in Mitch's Up Viral link, feel free to contact him via Messenger, and he's got that 1 hour of free consulting, which he will make available to anybody. And thanks heaps, Mitch.
It's been my pleasure,
really
Paul.
Appreciate your time. And yeah, feel free to answer any questions feel free to ask some more questions in the links below, and have an awesome day, and thanks heaps, Mitch.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, I'll end the broadcast here. You